Welcome, viewing several, and ho ho ho, Merry Christmas, because it's a special 40th episode and the Christmas edition of my little series I like to call Hands Up, Who Loves a Train Set? Me! So, as it's coming up to Christmas, I thought I'd have a look at this, the Hornby Santa's Express train set. Now I bought this, when did I buy this? Last summer or the summer before. You can get these much cheaper if you buy them in the summer, but also it is in the catalogue for 2025, but I think they've stopped making this now, so I think any that you buy now will be ones that were made that they've still got. There's plenty for sale, both new old stock and second hand. There always is. I paid about £55, I think. The RRP is nearer 100, but well, I think it's like 89 or something, or it was. But in the summer, I bought this, and they were on cheap, and I very nearly bought a friend of mine one, because he does use it at Christmas, but I thought I'll get him one that is not specific to Christmas, because he might want to use it at other times. So I thought I've got to have one of these as a person who loves train sets. So I got one, and yeah, I use it. I'm going to be setting it up in the next couple of weeks. Now, I set it up on here, on this desk, and I put it, it's not a scale thing, I put like, you know, those light up wooden buildings and things like that, and I will add lights to some of the those four-wheel coaches and things, and just make it a fun thing. So I generally put this up about a week or two before Christmas, but the thing is, I need this desk, so I don't want it to be set up for too long. But it will be up for a week or two, and then probably Boxing Day I'll take it down, because I'll be using this desk. But yeah, so I'm going to do a separate video about the Christmas sort of layout that I'm going to do. But for now, we're just going to look at this, which is the Santa's Express set, which has been around for a while. I think it's pretty popular. You can pick these up used very cheaply, and I think you can buy these wagons with the year on every year. I think I did buy a 2024 one last year for the novelty of it. I haven't bought the 2025 one, and I probably won't bother. But you know, it's a bit of fun, and it's nice to have at Christmas. So what we'll do is just have a look at the back of the box, and you can see there it's like a classic. That reminds me of the Christmas kind of cards you used to get when I was a kid in the 70s, with lots of red colours, and you'd have a lot of red candles and things, and yeah, I kind of like that. It's quite a nice atmospheric picture. For me, that's kind of quite nostalgic. But yeah, it's going to be a quick one. It's a very simple set. You get first radius in here, which is lovely, because it means I can set it up, for me that is, because I can set it up on my desk. So we'll get it set up. Well, actually, let's have a look inside the box. Right, so like a lot of these sets of recent times, you get you don't get a track map with this, but that's fair enough. You get the basic instructions, and you get this first radius loop. I was under the impression I think it's an oval of track. Yes, you get a power straight and a 601, so it gives you a nice compact oval. I have had this out, and I have had it running last year. So I might splice on a bit of video from last year's Christmas set. Now you can see here you get this controller. Now recently I reviewed my TT120 branch line set, and the controller, I got one of these in it, and this was very, very stiff. This is a lot better, and I was thinking, well, I could swap them over, but to be honest, I don't really use these controllers, because I use this because it's just better, and you know, So what else do we get here? Let's have a look. Is there... no, I was just going to see, do you get the driver and fireman? I don't think you do in this one, which is fair enough. And I don't think they give you any detailing, you know, like vacuum pipes or anything like that. But you get one of these, which is a very, very basic wagon. Now this is like... Again, this is like I had in my first Hornby set, which was a 1974 set, and it was a Kellogg's van. It's almost the same. And then we've got this one. Now these are quite fun because they get you've got this present load, which is pretty heavy, which is a good ballast, and you know they go in there. Very basic stuff, and of course you get your Holden, which we all know these. They can be quite good, these. I quite like them, I'm quite fond of them. As a starter 040, they're, you know, I think they come second to the Pug. I like the Cali Pug better, but I like these. I've got a few of these, and they're perfectly good as a starter loco. So, and as you can see, we've got first radius track. Very, very simple set, very basic. Now they've replaced this with a battery USB chargeable set, which I quite like the look of. It's quite cheap at £40. I thought maybe I would buy one if I come across one in the supermarket or something. I don't know whether they're going to sell them there or whether you're going to have to order them online, but that would kind of, for me, that might destroy the fun. So for that new Santa's Express, if I see one in Tesco when I'm doing my Christmas shopping for a good price, I might pick one up. But apart from that, I don't think I'll bother, because it is quite a you know, it is designed to run around the tree. Now this, I don't run around the tree. I run this on here just for a couple of weeks or a week or so, because I just kind of like to have one with all stuff lit up. So that said, I think it's time to put the track together, give it a run and see what we got. Right, here we are, we're on the track now. Ooh, dog's barking. So it's time, if you're that way inclined, to help yourself to a refreshing glass of something, if you want to join me. I am having this tonight, which I rather like. Now, let's get this running, shall we? So, I've not actually run this on this track before. Last year, what I did was I built a much smaller radius layout, FlexiTrack, and my first attempt, it worked and I used it, but it wasn't brilliant. And I made a second one for a friend of mine. It's much better, much smoother. But I thought, well, I don't really need one on a board for that. I think if I'm only going to have the Christmas layout set up at Christmas, I can either use this, or I think what I'm probably going to use is another type of track with a siding and you know, anyway, we'll see. That's a separate video. But yeah, so this Hornby First Radius is actually quite nice. It's a bit stiff the first time that you put it together, but yeah, it's pretty good. So this will run, it runs pretty good. Build up the speed. Now I think this particular loco is actually one of the ones that isn't a pocket rocket. I said it might be gearing, but I think it's more likely to be the way the motor is wound, because the worm gears and everything, they look the same as the old ones. But that is full tilt, and that's great. Some of the older ones of these, that speed, they go so fast that they'll just be off the track. So yeah, that's very nice, very smooth. Just show it going the other way. Now, in terms of having a train that runs around at the bottom of the Christmas tree, I wouldn't use something like this. I would use a much cheaper battery powered set, and probably a bigger scale. Wouldn't even have to be to real scale for under tree, especially if it was a real tree with pine needles and things. And I've had a few of those, the plastic track ones. I had one that was actually G scale, but I never used it, and I gave it to a friend of mine's young boys, and they love it. But it was not something I was ever going to set up anywhere because there's just no room. But if you want a tree to go around the tree, I think the new Santa's Express is good. But this is really, this is what I have this for, is a kind of, with some Christmassy buildings, all with lights in, you know, and just maybe the Christmas tree in the corner, little one, and I might bring in some twigs from the garden. So my idea is, if you've seen Joseph Cornell's box constructions, like Setting for a Fairy Tale, for example, where he's used twigs as a background to make a forest, maybe that kind of thing. I might not be able to find the material I need this year for that, but eventually that's what the plan is for the back there. I've just left this one in place for now because it's not that close to Christmas, so but I do need to get some other backgrounds. So I thought I'd make something. What we normally do is get some dead wood and spray it up with a bit of silver. So I might do something like that for the back, like a grim fairy tales forest. Anyway, that's about enough of this. This is yeah, it's a nice little set, and as I say, you can pick these up very cheaply now, but they have stopped making them, and I don't think they're going to be in next year's catalogue. You know, they're very similar to, you can make one yourself, and you could customise it or whatever, but I just thought it would be a fun thing to have if I could get one. I wasn't going to pay $89.99 for it. As I say, I think I paid about £47 or something like that. So but if you buy them during the summertime, but there's a lot of second-hand ones now for sale, but it's actually quite a nice little set. It runs really nicely, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You can take the presents out, you could paint it up and convert it into a non-Christmassy set. So you know, I've seen them going for sort of £25–30, and I quite like it, I really do. So there we go. So I might do a Brucie bonus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try a couple of other locos on here and see if they run. And if they do, then I think what I'll do is I'll include them as well, and then we'll do some close running shots as always. Welcome to your Brucie bonus. Your Brucie bonus is welcome. Right, so your Brucie bonus is a Hall's glass 1973 Lord Westwood 460. Now, there is a chuff mechanism on this, but it's I need to stick a bit of sandpaper on it. I've serviced it, it runs, but it does need I need to fix the chuff mechanism in the tender. Other than that, it's pretty nice. And this is a controversial model from 1973 where it's non-prototypical. The number on the tender is the service number of the Triang Hornby service department, I think. But I rather like it. You can buy these for like 20 quid, which is I think what I paid. And they've recently, people are saying, you know, other YouTubers are saying they make excellent Christmas trains, and I agree. So having seen that, I thought I'd get this out as a bonus and just show it. Now I'm not going to go any faster than this because, you know, on this radius I think that might be asking a bit much. It's going to crash. Oh, okay, we'll do it. Right, that's as fast as I am going to go. But I think that makes a wonderful Christmas train. A tender loco, bright red, fantastic. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. I will see you in the next one. What I'm going to do is we'll do some shots of this, and we'll do the Santa and this one, and then I'm gonna cut in a few shots of last year's Christmas layout, and to finish up. And I'll see you in the next one. The next one's going to be more like this series, where I'm taking Triang sets that are not working and getting them, you know, replacing parts and so on, and getting them back to working. So that's coming up. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.